Hello, my name is Joe Kennedy, and today I'm going to provide a quick demonstration of the new challenge mapping system in Challenge Runner. So why do you use challenge mapping? The big reason is to provide an alternate leaderboard for your participants. Maybe your challenge is to go from one location to the next, or maybe you're doing a challenge where you want to move your participants to different locations around the world. You can use actual maps then as your leaderboard instead of showing the same bar chart that you've been using for a while. So with that, and you can, I should also mention that you can do this with any type of challenge. It does not need to be walking or distance related. As long as you are generating some kind of points from your users, you can translate those points into miles or kilometers on a map and then move your participants along, and they can see their rankings in relationship to others. So with that, once again, you can use maybe hydration based, where you're drinking a certain amount of water and you're giving your participants points for that, or maybe you're giving your participants points for using the stairs instead of the elevator, or maybe it's some kind of challenge based on nutrition or mindfulness, or really you name it. As long as you're giving some kind of points, you can translate those points into distance and then use that distance to show the relationship on a map. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to log into my test admin account. All right, so I'm logged in. I'm going to create a quick challenge. This demo isn't really about creating the challenge itself. The mapping system can really be used with any challenge. So I'm going to create a quick one. I'm just going to use a walking challenge. I'm just going to leave all the defaults, so we'll call it walking challenge. I'll leave the default description. I'm going to just give it the beginning and ending of February 2020. Click finish, and now you have a challenge build. You can add additional activities if you want, or we can go ahead and add participants. So if we wanted to put something hydration based or mindfulness based, we put that down in activities using the little plus, but we're going to move on and just add some participants. Generally, I would create a link and I would send that out to my prospective participants. They'd click on it and join the challenge. However, to shortcut things a bit, I'm going to use the second option, which allows me to use prior participants in my challenge. So I already have some users that I've used in various challenges in the past. So let's just take a few of those. We'll click finish, and there my participants are now in my challenge. Okay, so now I've built my challenge. I'm going to go ahead and add a map to it. So in this case, I just click on this challenge map button. It's going to ask me if I want to enable the map. I'll click on that. By default, 2,000 leaderboard points equal 1 mile. What is that? So if you look up the averages, if you're walking around 2,000 steps equals 1 mile. That's what this is based on. You can change these numbers to anything you want. You can also switch from miles to kilometers. And now I'll leave it at 2,000. Actually, why don't I just change it? I'm going to, for the sake of moving people around the map a little bit faster, I'm going to switch that to 100 leaderboard points equal 1 mile. That way I can make a bigger map and I can move people around without adding a lot of data. We also have the choice of whether we want to use actual roads or if we want to use straight lines. So actual roads, it's what you think it is. The map will connect all the different locations using roads. So you could have a more lifelike challenge if you're maybe running an ultra marathon, something along those lines. Otherwise, you can use straight lines, where the benefit to that is, well, it might not be very realistic. It will cross over water very easily, and you can go farther distances. The actual roads is limited to around 10,000 kilometers. Wow, that's a lot. If you're running a very, very large, or you want a very large map for your challenge, actual roads might not be the best. So straight line can can go past any of those problems. So the default is straight line. We'll leave that. We're going to add some waypoints. Your first waypoint is your starting point. So as a starting point, why don't I pick out Las Vegas, Nevada. Like Las Vegas, we will click on this add waypoint. It found Las Vegas. We hit save, and that becomes our starting line. Now, at this point, why don't we go to another location? Always been a big fan of San Diego. So let's add San Diego, California, and we'll add that waypoint. One of the interesting things that happen now, it shows the distance from the starting point, Las Vegas, to San Diego as a ratio of 100 points equals 1 mile. So if we divided that by 100 right now, we would see that it's roughly 264 miles from Las Vegas to San Diego. So we have that. Now if we go ahead and add another waypoint. Let's add, and that's in a straight line too, by the way. If we add another waypoint, let's go to Seattle, Washington. Let's add this waypoint. So I found the right one. We have King County. And it's showing then the distance. This isn't the distance, this down here isn't the distance from San Diego to Seattle. It's the distance from Las Vegas to Seattle by way of San Diego. So, and the reason for this is we can translate this easily then on a number of points the participant needs to reach to get from Las Vegas to Seattle by way of San Diego. We also have these additional buttons over here that allow us to create milestones. So if I wanted to create a milestone for reaching San Diego, I can click on this. It takes us to the milestone system. I can assign badges and awards, but that isn't really what I'm interested in. Right now, what I really want is just to have this milestone in place so that when my participants reach that milestone, the date and time that they reach it will be recorded in the system. A race generally doesn't end, or I've never known one to end, when the first person reaches the finish line. Maybe that's when the award gets handed out to the first participant, but it generally ends when the last person either quits trying or reaches the milestone. So we want to record those. So we have that. I'm just going to save this milestone off. I'm going to go back over here. Everything looks good in my challenge map. So why don't we get some data in here? So let's switch to the user view. I'm just going to select my first participant, which is Jane. Jane is going to do really well today and walked about 10 miles, so 20,000 steps. Excuse me. So we have 20,000 steps. The leaderboard will show up. It's going to be your standard leaderboard by default, showing 20,000 steps for Jane. Now, if I select John, let's give John 15,000 steps, and let's give Bob 25,000 steps. All right, so now I have, like I said, the standard leaderboard. If I want to see my map in relation to this, all I need to do is click on this ellipsis, and it will show me, well, this right here is showing me my first checkpoint, and Bob's almost reached my checkpoint. I suppose I should give him a few more. Maybe we'll give Jane a few more steps so that somebody crosses it. All right, so why don't we do that? I'm just going to go, actually, I could probably just edit Jane's data. I might enter some data in for the prior day, but fine. Let's go from 20,000. Let's give her 30,000 steps today. She had a really good day, and Jane's data is going to switch from 20,000 to 30,000 steps, and she crossed the mile marker. So she has gone farther on the map than San Diego from Las Vegas, according to the ratio we set up. So if I click on this, I can see there's a new map tab. If I click on the map tab, and I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. All right, so if I zoom out a little bit, I can see that John's way back here on the way from Las Vegas to San Diego. I have Jane in the lead with 30,000 points, and I have Bob down here at 25,000 points. And we can see that as we move up here to Seattle, the participants are going to continue to move along the line as they gain points. So that's about as complicated as it gets to create this. As you see, by default, this leaderboard is still your main map. Well, if you're running your main leaderboard, this bar chart, if you're running a map-based challenge, you might want to show that as your main leaderboard. So to do that, we just switch back over to admin view. Let's select the challenge we just created. Let's click on, let's see, we're going to click on Edit Challenge. And Edit Challenge allows me to select which leaderboard I want to show as the main one. So by default, it's team or individual. That's what we're seeing. If I select map, now your admin leaderboard is going to look the same. You can go see any of the leaderboards you want from here, but your participants, if we select Jane, we're going to see that Jane's leaderboard is now centered on her location on our race map. I guess what we could also do, I can show you, let's go back to this, what actual roads would look like as opposed to straight lines. So if I click on this, select actual roads, and I'm going to change the ratio just to move them along the map a little bit more. So I'm going to change it to 50 leaderboard points equals 1 mile. If I hit save, well, let's refresh it first. It's going to change the point system here, and then I click save. Now, if I switch to the user view, I show Jane, and let's zoom out a little bit. You can see how it's using actual roads now. You can also see that they've advanced farther along the map because we made the ratio smaller, 50-1. So anyway, this is how the mapping system works. It can be very effective in a challenge. This works on the website. It also works on the apps. I hope everybody gets a chance to go out and play with it a little bit. And if you have any questions, please contact me at Challenge Runner. Thank you very much. Bye.